Yes, brother.
Here we are again.
Here we are. Another year,
Yeah.
another start. Episode 1's out, of course.
Also known as episode 100.
Episode 100. Well, that's yapping. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yapping for 100 episodes. What have been your honest reflections thus far?
I think from my own personal perspective, I think it's, I feel like we've relaunched in a very targeted or strategic way. And that kind of feels good. Like, it doesn't feel like we're walking into, like, back in the day when we used to record, where we'll turn up and I'll be like, yo, did you read the book? And I'm like, I don't know if this guy read the same book as me this week or not. And there are some moments where you genuinely had read different books. You know how mad that is?
Yeah,
so we still styled it out.
Yeah.
I'm just yapping. And you're like, yeah. And then I'm like, oh, so what do you think, Sharks? But yeah, like since then, I feel like we've come very far in terms of just planning ahead properly. I feel like doing it seasonal has allowed us to be a bit more intentional about how we want the seasons to go. So like I would say the first season of the relaunch, like it wasn't super specific about what we were like talking about week by week, but there was still like an overarching, I would say, consistency in the way we were talking about things, the way we addressed things, the kind of guests we were picking up, or the kind of guests we were putting on. And I felt like that felt really good. And like we kind of already knew, I feel like we kind of knew already, like we've got a product here. We just got to build it and make it consistent. And where we've launched this first episode, we've already batch recorded a bunch and we plan to record a bunch more with guests and stuff. So I feel like that's where we are. We know we're on the edge of something, something good, something great.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter now of putting the final piece of that jigsaw puzzle together, you know? What would you say is your overall feeling since we rebooted?
Definitely the very thing that's been giving me the most drive is you know, I feel like if we're getting candid here, you know,
so we love the C words.
Yeah, it's like, you know, I've been applying for, like, you know, the typical corporate stuff.
Yeah.
You know, the typical corporate 9-to-5 world, and every time I'm just getting shunned at. You know what I mean? Closed door after closed door after closed door, and so it's like, it feels like with this, it's the only thing that I'm in control of.
Yeah.
You know? Whereas like with the corporate thing, it's like, okay, so you have to put out an application. Nowadays, everyone's doing it with like AI. That's, you know, so now you're battling people's CV AI.
Yeah,
Everyone's trying to compete for the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's all dependent on one person just saying,
yes.
Yeah, you know, and then for the interview stage. And after that, then someone else has to say, yeah, if you can actually join the bloody thing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, there's a lot of dependencies that is happening one after the other. And I feel like right now we're in such a beautiful time where we can create we have our own agencies in terms of like, all you need is a camera to start. And if you connect with people, if you resonate well, if you know, like, are able to build that bridge between people and they actually like your stuff, they like watching your stuff, then you can grow from that, and then you can start making money from it. You don't need that financial route of only having to go corporate or like having to have that 9-to-5 job. And so it's like, even before the Inspyre was kicked off, it was just kind of like, okay, what do I actually have agency over? What do I have control over? That it's not dependent on a higher up or some guy in a suit saying, yeah, you can. The journey getting there isn't as vivid in my mind.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And so it's like, because I'm constantly looking at the end, I'm getting more impatient towards it. You know, and it's that's how I'll tell you, my honest truth is that I feel like I'm very much impatient towards the journey. You know, people are like, oh, you got to enjoy the journey, you got to, all that kind of stuff.
Tired of the journey, huh?
Tired, bro. When you're at work and you're, you know what I mean, you're slaving away.
Yeah.
You don't want to feel no journey, bro.
Yeah.
You know, you just want it to be like ready and made. And I guess everything that you ever want in life is also always at the end of like hard work. You know, the treasure's always behind the dragon. So that's the thing. I would say, and another thing is as well, it's kind of like, I guess sometimes you put in a lot of effort.
Yeah.
making the videos, planning, scheduling, shooting, all this other kind of stuff. And then people would be lying if they didn't say in their heart of hearts they want it to blow up.
Yeah, of course.
You want the content to grow.
Yeah.
And then you feel like it doesn't. And I would say we probably haven't grown as much as we anticipated. Well, I anticipated anyway. Not to put words in your mouth.
Yeah.
But
Personally, I wouldn't even say that. I would say like, well, for me personally. So you said you're not gonna put words in my mouth. Personally, like I anticipated a certain level of success, but like I wasn't expecting us to blow up based on what we were doing, because I didn't feel like there's anybody doing what we're doing that I've blown up.
Yeah.
So I always felt like we've got to do something a bit different. We've always said we want to do videos in different ways, not just the podcast, right? And even with the podcast, like I don't feel like we ever like clipped it up enough seriously. Like when we do our clips do well, and like I don't think we targeted things well in that way. So I never really anticipated like growth from that way. I just knew that once we start doing something a bit different and more dynamic, like I said, then we'd blow up.
Yeah.
So like I would say I was frustrated with us not moving things along quicker in that direction.
Yeah, outside the podcast.
Yeah, but the circumstances were also tricky to make that all happen. Especially like with my work that I was doing before. Like I'd say now is the right time. So yeah, I get what you're saying, but yeah, not for me personally.
Yeah. Like what is the thing that you've seen that you're not quite as happy with, or like you feel like could be done better, on the podcast?
So I would say like I don't have any issues with the way we do things, honestly. I just feel we just need to stick it out and be consistent. And I feel like something that I don't feel nervous about, but I've kind of seen in the last few months is there's a like when we started this, like there wasn't anyone in this space.
Nah.
We were solo dolo, like I feel like we just continued from the jump. Like we would be massive right now, which is a regret. I would say definitely a regret, since you're asking candid questions.
Yeah.
But I would say, like I see other people like putting like book talk stuff, booktube stuff out a lot, and like they're getting views.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, what do we need to do to get there? But I feel like we know, and we just gotta stick to the game plan. Oh, okay, he's got a Tiger Woods on. The Tiger Woods.
Do you know what I mean? But I think the good thing is that, alhamdulillah, being married in the marriage I have is very supportive. So it's not like it's not like this toxic sense of like where I can't enjoy the creative side of it, And I remember one thing, especially again from your podcast, I love to quote.
Oh man. Taking that one off the internet, that one.
Was that you were saying that, obviously you getting married as well, you recently got married at the time.
Yeah.
It was a big milestone for you, but you also realised that people stop doing their creative pursuits once they get married, and for me it was kind of a fear that I had in the back of my head, which was like, okay, fine, if I get married, how many things take the back seat now? You know what I mean? All these dreams and aspirations that I had as a kid, where does that go?
I guess my warning came in handy over here.
It did. Oh, many warnings in that podcast. Many warnings in that podcast.
That was a podcast about how not to do life. Oh man.
But no, that's definitely changed for my life for the positive, because it's given me a sense of clarity of like patience and like that you're not on the journey alone, you know what I mean? Which is, I guess, important for every creative, because sometimes like when you're editing constantly, like me, sometimes I'll be bloody depressed, constantly editing, constantly putting up the shorts, and like not, I guess, like feeling like something's coming back from it, and then being like, okay, oh, here we go again. I guess I gotta redo the editing thing again and go through all of that kind of stuff, And it can be a very lonely and daunting kind of vibe to be in that little editing booth, But now it doesn't feel like that, which is, I guess, it's giving me the positive aspects to the stuff that we do. You know what I mean? And I think overall this year it's changed my perspectives of having to calm down from just looking at the end.
Yeah.
And like being like, okay, fine, this can...
Staying grounded.
Staying grounded. staying grounded, which is definitely what marriage helps with, and you know what I mean, and this whole creative pursuit.
I'll tell you what, I love the term touch grass. You gotta go and touch some grass sometimes.
Absolutely.
Get into reality.
Yeah.
But what would you say, like, since we've started or since we relaunched, is there anything you do different or things that you weren't really happy about or any?
First, let me put this back.
It's getting happy.
It's getting a bit nippy out.
Yeah.
But I would say to be fair, not much. I would say not much, and maybe just a bit more of the consistency in terms of outside of the podcast. Because I guess it just feels like with our Instagram or TikTok, it's mostly just here's the next episode, here's the next episode, here's the next episode. You know, adding stuff, supplementing it, giving it a little protein shake, all of that kind of stuff. You know, to keep it going. Like maybe, you know, introducing like videos outside the podcast. You know, doing other things, challenges, carousels, maybe all these other things that keep the beast fed.
Yeah.
You know. Because technically, I mean, I guess we've actually done all right with just the podcast and clips from that. You know, so it's like, okay, so imagine if we had more things going on around that, then where could we have reached then? You know, obviously you quit your job. Yeah. Essentially. Now, I mean, you're not unemployed. Yeah. You know what I mean? Not to put it like that.
Yeah.
But essentially, you've put your eggs in one basket. Plans for you this year?
For plans for me?
Yeah.
Like, generally?
Yeah.
I think I've gotten to the point where I'm like there's one part of me is like you're a designer, there's one part of me like you can edit videos, so you're kind of a video editor, but I'm not really, like, I wouldn't say like I'll go out of my way to do that. There's one part of me that's like I could go film other people's content and do it well. Yeah. So all of that, like in a corporate world, like it kind of aligns to like just make an agency and do things for other people. But I don't really want to do that. I don't, like, when I make stuff for other people, like, I kind of enjoy the process and I love hearing like the good feedback and stuff, but I never, like, I don't feel fulfilled from that. Like, ultimately, I think like what I've realized is I'm a maker. I like making things, and like the best way to do that in this current world we're in is just become a content creator full time. Like, if I can do that full time, I think that will fulfill a lot of these itches that I have, where I've got different creative hobbies and I can kind of put them out there and see where they go.
Of course.
So like, I want to make things that I enjoy and showcase what I'm doing and document the process along the way. And like I've got ideas to like make games and stuff and make a clothing brand and write a book and all this stuff. Yeah. So I'm at a point where I'm like, I don't want to box myself into anything. I'd rather just make things and make sure I'm making things consistently, and like just be known as the guy that this guy just makes stuff.
And what would you say, to just kind of wrap it up, what would be the best thing that you could see happening this year, or like a goal that if it happened by like December 31st, you'd be like, okay, we've done well here?
I think I would just like to see, like, as shallow as it is, I think I would just like to see us making money consistently from our work, because we put in a lot of work. Like,
that's not shallow.
I was joking with you the other day about like I'm paying a video editor who's a close family of mine, and he was like, can we put it up a little bit? And I was like, damn, bro, you're the only guy getting paid by this. You are the only guy getting paid by this right now, brother. And that's on my own dime. So like the studio money we're paying for, like all this stuff. There's a lot of expenses that come out of it, and like the time it takes to make things. Like, we could be doing other things with it, but we're doing it for the passion. We're doing it for love, love of the game. And I want the love of the game to love us back. before people start saying leave the game before it leaves. Like with the clips, it feels like quite painful to make them sometimes. But we get a lot of love on the clips, especially on TikTok. I feel like that's you can find our audience quickly there, more than other platforms. So I think just that diversifying a bit more and like I said, doing things a bit more different. I think we'll start seeing success and just hitting it out every single week. Just being on the pitch every single week, putting in the shots, and then we'll start scoring goals, I reckon.
And then overall thoughts this year is I definitely want
plans for the upcoming season and where you want to take your life.
Yeah, I think like I said, I've been writing, so I definitely want to have something by the end of the year.
Yeah.
For sure. inshallah, whether it's the book that I've been working on,
Yeah.
or if it's like a collection of like short stories. Just something tangible that's like actually out there, and just to get over that hump of what's it called, fearing it. And since it's the art of storytelling, I feel like we should have maybe nothing as grandiose as like publishing, but like end of year challenge of like creating, telling a story in whatever medium. It might be a short video, it might be a little film, it might be a little story written, you know, in whatever it is, but like all the stuff that we now learn in podcasts and things around it, to like have an end of year project. I feel like it would be a good one. And if we do another season of like the art of comedy at the end of it, maybe have an open mic session or something.
Yeah.
With all the stuff that we've learned.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll say that's pretty much the goals for the year. And
what would you like to see come out of this season for the podcast itself?
For the podcast itself, I would say definitely I always go back to community.
Yeah.
Because I think if you look at Scope, they're like the
hub of community.
Standard bearers.
Yeah.
You know, you go to the gala and you're seeing like people from all walks of life that are like in different fields doing incredible things, like coming, like that's a community. And then you've got like a guy that wants to do content with a guy that's been doing content for years, coming together, making like taking each other's numbers and like, actually doing things together. You've got, you know, all these like, it's just like what I saw there was absolutely beautiful.
Inspiring.
So, inspiring, yeah. So if we have like a community for like inspiring creatives, like people that have written a book, and then we have like a director that we know as well, maybe transferring that into like the screen, or like a place of like people come together, like a book club, which is important as people look for clubs like that. Like, okay, where can I go to actually discuss books, or where can I go to discuss things? And if we have I feel like the podcast, because it's a long form content where people can get to know us more. And I feel like if the podcast can be the vehicle to bring a community to us that cares about and likes the same things that we like, then that's the ultimate thing the beauty that can come from the podcast. Yeah.
So let's make it happen.
That's that right. Absolutely, absolutely. And obviously we can only make it happen with you guys, with our fellow people of the creative world. And you know, to be fair, I've started a little bench thing like this that I've been recording myself. I've called it Inspire Bites.
Inspire Bites.
Yeah, so this will be a little extra rendition. I don't know which week it will be. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Of the Inspire Bites, but yeah. So comment down below. What would we like them to let us know?
Hey, you blanked out.
I'm like that.
Comment down below. What would you like to see from us in the community space? What kind of events would you like us to hold? How would you like to get involved?
Absolutely.
Let us know. And we'll try and make sure we build towards our vision and our collective community vision as well. So we talked about football analogies and how lovely they are. You know, what better place to be? The place where I tore my ACL.
Oh, goodness.
No, I'm playing. The place.
I mean, it's true.
It's true, but the place where we get so competitive on a Tuesday night and we feel that spirit, you know, we like to take that spirit into our creative worlds and show some competitiveness and also set a standard for ourselves to be proud of, you know?
Yeah.
You know, when you're playing football, you're on the pitch, you're there for your team, you want to win, but you're also there to have a good performance. You don't want to be, even if you win 5-0, you don't want to be going off here like,
you don't have a stinker.
Why did I miss that?
Stinking up the pitch,
Yeah, so you got to have that personal standard. So what a place to start it off.
Place to come and kick off this
Indeed.
little Inspire Bites,
Indeed.
I mean, this park means a lot on the Tuesday night. This place here becomes like Champions League. It's roaring, it's buzzing, you know what I mean? Lights, fans, everything. It's all kicking off.
You know, when people learn new languages, the first thing they learn is swear words, or the amount of different language swear words I've heard over here. Yeah. I know. The filth that you hear, but you know,
It's what makes
the fire of it, the heart.
Absolutely.